Shalom. Shalom and welcome. My name is Symmanayah, and today is December 18, 2014. I have been presenting a series entitled Yashar'al's Time. I have echoed many messages of which I was compelled to present to who I believe is true Yashar'al, consisting of both Hebrews and Gentiles, or some may say Abari. Some even say Ibri or Abarim, representing the chosen children of Yahuwah, true descendants of Abraham, Yitzhak, commonly known as Isaac, and Jacob, Yaakov, commonly known as Jacob, whose name was changed to Yashar'al, most commonly referred to as Israel or Yisrael. Together, I believe that Hebrews and Gentiles who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father are joined as one family, as one body with many members by Yahushua Messiah. Yahuwah's word manifest in the flesh. Yahushua, our Messiah, our Savior. Yahushua, the one whose spirit represents the Almighty Father. Father's word made flesh. The earthen vessel, the man, the person, Yahushua, who was sacrificed and resurrected. Yahushua, the set-apart spirit in which the Almighty Father sent in Yahushua's name. My brothers and sisters, if you receive this, if you believe this, I consider you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, my brothers, my sisters, my family. With that said, I want to introduce a segment which was pressed upon me this morning, this 18th day of December 2014. Recently, there has been a cry out, protest, echoing the words, hands up, as well as I can't breathe. As I see these protests, my brothers and sisters, each day it appears that I cannot just dismiss them totally, not making light of what really is at stake, as people are crying out for justice. Could they be crying out? Could there be a cry out from us for set-apartness? Whether we say justice or set-apartness, where does true justice come? Where does true justice originate? I submit to you only by the Almighty Father. I have entitled this segment, Hands Up, I Can't Breathe. Hands up, I can't breathe. And if you can see the image in which I've presented with this video, it reads as follows. For those who cannot see it, or even those who see it, I will read it. It says, True Yashar'al, Hebrews and Gentiles, are we at the last warnings? Is there a connection? Could hands up equal the word behold, equal behold? The last call to set-apartness. Remember, this is the fourth symbol in the Almighty Yahuwah's name if you were to read it from right to left. Behold, showing an image with hands up. Could the words I can't breathe represent a cry for the breath of the Almighty Yahuwah, his set-apart spirit? My brothers and sisters, as I awakened this morning while pondering within my spirit, while praying, it was as though the Spirit of Yahushua pressed upon me this segment. Was it the Spirit of Yahushua revealing something to me that was necessary towards my maturity, towards Yashar'al's refinement? Each of you who listens and receives this message will get the opportunity to weigh in, whether to me or to another, or whether directly just to the Spirit of the Most High. You will either confirm or reject my experience to be a set-apart experience or not. It will not nullify it. It would merely define your position to this message. One good thing is I have learned not to worry, and I know how to embrace the power of Isaiah 55:11, knowing that any word that proceeds, that originates from the Almighty Father Yahuwah will perform successfully. With this said, allow me to present a reflection of what was presented, what was pressed upon me, Hands up. I can't breathe. Could we be witnessing something phenomenal? Could these words, hands up, I can't breathe, be linked to the last call to set-apartness? In other words, could this be a final call to righteousness and a cry for the breath of the Almighty Yahuwah, his set-apart spirits in Yahushua's name to rise? Are you aware that the image of one holding up their hands is reflective of the symbol, behold, in the Almighty Yahuwah's name? Are you aware that when reading from right to left, it is the fourth and last symbol of the Almighty One's name? I am referencing the original pictorial image of the Most High Father Yahuwah's name. When read right to left, it communicates, hand, behold, nail, behold. The Almighty Father Yahuwah created us and expected nothing but worship and obedience to him. Thus, the extension of his hand marks his creation with the symbol behold, following, representing the actions that followed. Then we see that in the actions that followed, man continued in rebellion, and we see that there was a sacrifice made. Thus, we see the next symbol in his name, the nail, representing the sacrifice of the Lamb of Yahuwah. His word manifests in the flesh, in the person of Yahushua Messiah. And then we see again, behold, representing actions that followed. Now allow me to present the following, my brothers and sisters. Matthew 24, verse 3 through 13 reads as follows. And he said on the Mount of Olives, the taught ones came to him separately, saying, say to us, when shall this be, and what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Yahushua answered them and said to them, take heed that no one leads you astray. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. And you shall begin to hear of fightings and reports of fighting. See that you are not troubled, for these have to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation and reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food and deadly diseases and earthquakes in places. And all these are the beginning of birth pains. Then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. My brothers and sisters, are we not told to be mindful of the signs of the times? Are we not to be aware of what the Mashiach was saying to his taught ones regarding the signs of the times, the end of the age? Let me also read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 1 through 10. It reads as follows. My brothers, as to the times and seasons, you do not need to be written to. For you yourselves know very well that the day of Yahuwah comes as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness. And yes, I put emphasis, are not in darkness, so that that day should overtake you as a thief. For you are all sons of the light and sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. So then we should not sleep as others do, but we should watch and be sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night, and those who get drunk are drunk at night. But we who are of the day shall be sober, putting on the breastplate of belief and love, and as the helmet, the expectation of deliverance. Because Elohim did not appoint us to wrath, but to obtain deliverance through our Master Yahushua Messiah, who died for us, so that we, whether awake or asleep, should live together with him. Notice that he said he did not appoint us to wrath in the 9th verse. There will be representation of those who are gathered from the four corners of the earth, and we will prove to represent the final exodus. We will prove to represent being put in a safe place and not being exposed to the wrath of the Almighty Father, to satisfy his word, to fulfill his words, my brothers and sisters. And there will be obedient ones who will be martyred for Yahushua's name, who will be killed for Yahushua's name. Let us pray for them, my brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters, are we witnessing signs of the time today? Could there be living instructions and warnings going before us today? Are there watchmen among us? Does the Spirit of Yahushua dwell within us? Is it really possible to walk filled with the set-apart Spirit of Yahuwah? Is it possible that in the midst of man's own conceit, on their own academic prowess, that in spite of man's tampering with what is indeed set apart, is it possible to still witness the Spirit of Yahushua make us whole, bring the fragments together, restore us? I have witnessed many messages go before Yashar'al that are clouded with one's own opinion and perspective regarding the interpretation of Scripture and the teachings of set-apartness. But in spite man's tampering, true set-apart life has come forth and will continue to come forth. I have witnessed set-apart messages being raped, pillaged, taken apart, broken into pieces, and when abused even more, send a wicked and erroneous teaching and practice and influence when presented alone as just the letter alone, causing death. If you doubt these words, look at the book called the Bible. Man has taken the set-apart true writings of the Almighty Father Yahuwah and infected it with pagan false idol names such as we have come to witness, known as Jesus Christ, Lord, Holy, and God, and more. There was no J 500 years ago, and the name Jesus was fabricated. Those who truly seek righteousness and set-apartness will come to learn and discover the truth, for within their spirits, within their minds, the things that are lies will come to be clear as we find ourselves being freed from strongholds, witnessing the power and promises of the Most High come to be. My brothers and sisters, have these tamperings prevented those who are seekers of set-apartness with the Almighty Father Yahuwah? Have these tamperings caused us to not discover the truth? I think not. In spite of man's tampering, we have still come to recognize what has been fragmented, what have been parsed, what have been put into pieces. We are witnessing them become whole. Who is able to discern the life in the scriptures of a parable that was given to us in Matthew? I ask you to be mindful of the signs of the times. Allow me to present just one verse in the 14th chapter. It says, and all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up the pieces left over, 12 baskets filled. That was Matthew 14:20. My brothers and sisters, though once a multitude was fed, did they not leave food behind? Did not the taught ones of Yahushua Messiah gather the pieces or fragments, filling 12 baskets? In spite of being left on the ground, were not the pieces brought together? 12 baskets full, representing food. Is no food a part of what keeps us alive? In other words, without food, could we still live from a natural and practical perspective? Is it possible that people's eyes may have been open to the waist once the pieces were placed into full baskets? In other words, the multitude ate so erratically, they took all food for granted. As a result, we saw fragments and pieces left on the ground. But were people's eyes opened that, hey, wow, we wasted some food once the 12 baskets, once the pieces were made whole? Now, some of you might say, where are you going? What does this have to do with anything? And I say, pray and seek to discern the life in this message. If you doubt the ability to answer this last question, did you discern it better once you read about 12 baskets being filled? Will Yashar'al be gathered from the four corners of the earth? Are we akin to fragments and pieces scattered across the earth? Is Yashar'al scattered like pieces and fragments as a result of man's wickedness in our own rebellion, which is the fruit of wickedness? Could the gathering from the four corners of the earth be as Yashar'al being made whole, brought together as one in Yahushua Messiah? Could 12 baskets full be akin to 12 tribes of Yashar'al becoming visible in the 144,000, with 12,000 from each of the tribes of Yashar'al as described in Revelation 7th chapter? Could the great multitude prove that we are gathered and made one in Yahushua Messiah? Thus, we are true Yashar'al. We become neither Greek nor Hebrew, neither Gentile or Abarim, neither Goyim or Abarim, nor bond nor free. We become known together as Yashar'al under one banner through Yahushua Messiah. But allow me to share this, my brothers and sisters, because many, when they read this, they think that there's no need of talking about whether we are Hebrew or Gentile. But I submit to you, no, we must talk about both in all set-apartness. Let me read to you Galatians chapter 3, verse 26 through 29. It reads as follows. For you are all sons of Elohim through belief in Messiah Yahushua. For as many as you were immersed into Messiah have put on Messiah. There is not Yehudite nor Greek, there is not slave nor free, there is not male and female, for you are all one in Messiah Yahushua. And if you are Messiah, then you are a seed of Abraham and heirs according to promise. My brothers and sisters, remember the Messiah even said, my brothers and sisters are those who do the will of the Almighty Father. He didn't say only Hebrews or only Abarim. He said that do the will of my Father. But if we look at those who do the will of the Father as being his brothers and sisters, as being family, could this not be akin to Isaiah 11:12, which talks about one banner, that banner being Yashar'al? Know this, my brothers and sisters. Many have taken a position to disregard the awakening of the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, commonly known as Isaac, and Yaakov, most commonly known as Jacob, whose name was changed to Yashar'al, commonly known as Israel. Many disregard that we will rise, that we will be awakened based off of Galatians 3rd chapter. But I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, there are promises made, though we are one in Yahushua Messiah, there are promises made regarding covenants to the chosen children of Yahuwah, the chosen descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, whose name was changed to Yashar'al. There were covenants made. So in these covenants, we must and we will witness the awakening of descendants of our forefathers, of the chosen of Yahuwah. Remember, don't forget now, remember, scriptures will be made whole. Remember the 7th chapter of Revelation. It could not be fulfilled if we disregarded the awakening of a nation of Hebrews, Abari, emerging physically and visibly. To those who seek to keep the scriptures whole and discover the life in the scriptures, we know we will be made whole, and in all set-apartness, it will be proven of who we are by the power, the might, and the strength of the Almighty Father Yahuwah through his set-apart Spirit in Yahushua's name. Beware of those who attempt to stop the pieces of truth, the fragments of set-apartness from being restored and made whole. Beware of false teachers, mores, and others who erroneously disregard the presence of the Spirit of Yahushua. Please listen to my words carefully, for there will be those who will say, I'm attacking mores. Do not be naive. The word more means teacher. And just as there are set-apart teachers, there are also wicked teachers. There are righteous teachers and there are evil teachers, just like there are righteous mores or evil mores. So do not succumb to the wickedness of the rebellious ones. Seek to discern the set-apart ones who are indeed led by the Spirit of Yahushua. The time is at hand when we will begin to discern all that is indeed set apart. In the midst of our fragmentation, pieces or being scattered, we will come to discern the truth as the Spirit of Yahushua rises within us. We will begin to see an increase in the Spirit of Yahushua's presence in our midst as he works within us, through us, one towards another, and through his chosen. True is truth, regardless of how man may attempt to hide it, parse it, fragment it. Truth and set-apartness will prove to rise. As we are made whole, it will become even more clear. Who looks at a donkey and is void of the words that are coming from its mouth, if its mouth were opened? Who would be busy focusing on the smell, the size, the actions of the donkey, opposed to listening to his words? Who will be too busy looking at rocks or stones and not hear them cry, not hear the cry coming from the Most High, as they are made to speak, if necessary? Who is able to discern? Who is able to acknowledge that though we speak physically to one another, that there is the speaking, there are the communications in spirit, one towards another through discernment, one by one through another, as the Spirit of the Most High work in us and through us. as he speaks to us directly? Who is able to discern when the Spirit of the Most High works in us? Or are we too busy looking at the individual? Are we too busy concerned with how the message was delivered opposed to listening to the words? I submit to you again, could there be a connection in the echoing cries, hands up, I can't breathe? Stay tuned, my brothers and sisters. I will continue this segment and move on to part 2 in a moment. Part 2, there are 2 parts to this segment entitled, Hands Up, I Can't Breathe. Stay tuned, my brothers and sisters, as I continue this multi-part segment. Shalom, shalom, shalom.